When an INTJ personality becomes irate, it's frightening for everyone, even themselves. They always appear to have everything under control, but in truth, they've lost all control. Anyone paying attention can see the coldness in their eyes and the wrath seething inside. It's like having gasoline instead of blood and someone decided to set it on fire. Now, anger is great when you can manage it by directing the energy in a productive direction. But what happens when an INTJ becomes enraged? Well, it's awful. This is bad for you since you're about to go through some things, and it's bad for an INTJ because they can't control themselves. But what exactly triggers an INTJ, and what does INTJ rage look like? Today I'm talking about INTJ Hot Anger and Cold Anger and the differences between these two distinct types of INTJ rage. Make sure to watch until the end of today's video. This is really going to open your eyes to what is going on in an INTJ's mind. Let's get into it. Welcome to Success for Breakfast, where I'm serving up brain food made simple. Hit that subscribe button to get the latest videos created to give you the tools to level up your life. To start me off, the first type of INTJ rage. When you break an INTJ's values, you will experience hot anger. Most people have this form of anger and rage, which they can freely express when they are upset for petty or personal reasons. This heated fury is sparked for particular, factual reasons for an INTJ. Their emotions are usually not invested in you, rather they are outraged at what you did. A couple of examples would be if you have put someone's life in jeopardy or simply hurt them, especially if that person is close to an INTJ. Or unwanted intrusion into their personal lives, attempting to unearth some type of painful past and use it to influence an INTJ. Or simply inflicting pain on them for your entertainment are just a few reasons why you will experience a wave of INTJ's hot anger. Basically, this fury occurs only if you did something extremely wrong that defies all logic and is directly related to or done to cause misery on an INTJ. This wrath is not one in which an INTJ can look at the problem from all angles with rational ideas, allowing them to rant silently in their brains as they normally do. Also, they don't play out the scenario in their minds as to how they arrived at this reaction like they usually do. When this rage comes up, all of their viewpoints go out the window because the fact of the matter is, you are an awful person. Make no mistake, an INTJ will attack you as a person, but only after they have attacked the facts of the situation. The burying you phase is when they will attack your moral character. As you can see, an INTJ isn't the one to hold back during a hot anger episode. Based solely on the current situation, their wrath of full-fledged anger will all burst out at once. Yes, this fury is solely based on facts and logic of the present moment. Only very shortly after this will they resort to all the nefarious things you did in the past, all carefully gathered and stored away in their minds for when the day comes when you massively wrong them, or that your mockery has become unbearable, unreasonable, and self-righteous. They will use accurate gathered facts and statistics to tear you down in order to illustrate how shady you are and that what you did was entirely and utterly incorrect. Whether the rage was brewing or not, a list of your immoral factual deeds, such as what you've done wrong, bad decisions you've made, character faults, and so on, will be prepared in their minds. So if you are offended, it's on purpose. They want you to suffer. If you've gotten some value from this video so far, please show your appreciation and hit that like button. That signals to YouTube that you think other people could benefit from this video too. An INTJ is usually alright after the anger has been released. However, there are two possible consequences. The first is when they reach that point of rage where respect or trust is lost, they will most likely destroy the bridge of memories that they've established. Your existence will be meaningless from now on. The main reason they want to get rid of you is because of what you did to cause them to erupt. Despite this, what you did is not the only reason they want to get rid of you. An INTJ regrets showing you their breaking point through the anger outburst, which accounts for 5 to 10% of the ultimate decision. They don't care if you're in pain, they simply did not want to showcase their emotions because they are generally so controlled. It's ironic because most INTJs who erase people don't carry resentment. Again, it goes beyond resentment and no other emotion will follow. The sooner they get rid of you, the sooner they will be able to forget about you and move on. The next probable outcome is that only a select few can persuade an INTJ to reconcile, which is extremely rare. This is where their emotions will play a role. If and when an INTJ feels bad about hurting you later, these are the brief times when they can and desire to reconcile with you, to right the wrong. These are the times when they are disappointed in themselves for how they tore you down so ruthlessly. Instead of an apology, they will do something for you to say sorry. Whatever they do to apologize, it will be practical to explain that they did not mean to harm you. They only wanted to communicate how horrible you were getting. It was important to shake you up, yes, but they have also wronged themselves. Before I get to the next type of INTJ anger, what do you, as an INTJ, typically do to deal when you get upset or angry? Leave a comment and make sure to tell me your stories. This brings me to anger type 2, the experience of the INTJ silent treatment. When you abuse an INTJ's character, you will experience an ice-cold freeze-out. You can bruise an INTJ's feelings without going against their values, but only if they care about you and respect you completely. When you insult or violate an INTJ's character, they lock up and freeze you out. They prefer not to express their anger, so in order to keep these unpleasant emotions at bay, they feed into their introversion even more in order to avoid people. An INTJ will be even colder and unemotional in this situation, blocking all forms of communication and simply ignoring you. Also, it may be difficult for them to express themselves at this time, so they remain silent, which, in their opinion, is for the best. Because they are offended by your attack on their character, an INTJ may brood and sometimes even silently seethe about it. However, they are usually so numbed by your onslaught that they aren't even angry. They are, if anything, disappointed in you and are questioning everything. They'll stew or brood for hours, days, or even weeks. You'll realize that an INTJ's hot outburst doesn't last as long as this ice-cold treatment. During their solitude, they will internalize and study the offenses and circumstances on a deeper level by disputing and counterattacking the offenses in their minds, such as imagining how it would feel to tell you how they feel. The aftermath of this form of rage is similar to that of hot anger. However, they don't feel guilty or the urge to delete you because they believe they have exposed their humanity. An INTJ, on the other hand, will erase you with a cold and numbed, spiteful hate. This doesn't happen very often though, because it's quite difficult to completely remove someone an INTJ appreciates from their life, especially if that person is close to them. With the exception of unhealthy INTJs who are suffering from depression, stress, or inexperienced with their complicated thoughts, INTJs in general don't express anything worse than frustration because it takes more to push them over the brink into reacting forcefully than other people. Most INTJs dislike people because they are their Achilles heel. Irrational people, rude people, and immoral people are just a few of the things that might drive them to become irrational. Ideally, an INTJ should explain and communicate the problem early on, before frustration and stress build up. Even if it's difficult, try to explain or at least acknowledge the problem in some way, even if it's only a hint. Another alternative is to get some space and alone time when you need it. This typical lack of anger that is frequent with an INTJ is one of the many reasons people think that they are cold and uncaring people. This is definitely not the case. They actually really care a lot about the select few people they allow into their lives, but it is one of the main reasons people always misunderstand an INTJ. This video takes a deep look into why the INTJ is so misunderstood and shows you just how wrong people actually are when it comes to the INTJ personality type.